My grandmother used to tell me stories about our family's past, about the secrets we kept hidden behind closed doors. She'd whisper tales of love and loss, of sacrifices made and hearts broken. But there was one story she never spoke of, one that I only stumbled upon years later when her belongings were being sold after her passing. It was an old, worn-out photo album filled with pictures of our family's early days. As I flipped through the pages, a particular image caught my eye: a young couple standing side by side, their arms wrapped around each other's waist. They were dressed in formal attire, but it was clear that they didn't care about the occasion. Their eyes sparkled with a love so pure, so fierce, that it took my breath away. But what struck me most was who they were: my great-aunt and great-uncle, people I'd always been told to respect, to admire from afar. They were pillars of our family's values, the ones who had taught me right from wrong. Yet here they were, embracing each other with a passion that seemed almost illicit. I felt a shiver run down my spine as I wondered what their story was, how they'd found each other in a time when love like theirs wasn't accepted. The more I looked at the photo, the more questions I had. What happened to them? How did our family's history become so complicated? This opening paragraph aims to capture the audience's attention with a personal and emotional narrative, introducing a mysterious story that will unfold over the next 4 paragraphs. It sets the tone for a mature and engaging storyline that explores themes of love, family, and identity. As I delved deeper into the photo album, I found more pictures of my great-aunt and great-uncle, but also notes and letters that hinted at their struggle. They were from a time when being openly gay was not accepted by our community, when families like ours were forced to hide their true selves. My great-aunt's handwriting was beautiful, full of love and longing, as she poured her heart out to my great-uncle in secret. The letters spoke of stolen glances, of midnight walks under the stars, of a love that couldn't be denied but couldn't be openly expressed either. It was heartbreaking to read, yet I felt a strange sense of connection to them, like I was uncovering secrets that were meant for me. But what really caught my attention was a newspaper clipping from the 1950s, tucked between 2 photographs. It was an article about a scandalous affair in our family's past, one that had led to a rift so deep it still echoes today. My great-aunt and great-uncle were at the center of it all, accused of being disloyal and ungrateful for not conforming to our family's expectation. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. How could my own family turn against their own? The article went on to say that they had suffered a great loss due to this betrayal, but it didn't specify what that loss was. Was it their freedom to love each other, their place in our family? I couldn't shake off the feeling that there was more to the story, that there were still secrets hidden beneath the surface. I decided then and there that I would uncover them, no matter how painful it might be. Little did I know that this journey would take me down a rabbit hole of discovery, one that would challenge everything I thought I knew about my family, my identity, and myself. This paragraph continues to build on the narrative, introducing new clues and hints about the family's past. It also deepens the emotional connection between the protagonist and their ancestors, making the story more personal and relatable. The introduction of a newspaper clipping adds an element of shock and surprise, setting up the next twist in the storyline. As I dug deeper, I started to notice strange inconsistencies in our family's history. Stories that my parents had told me about their childhood were now revealed to be fabrications or exaggeration. It was as if they'd been taught to forget, to erase from memory the parts of our past that didn't fit into the narrative of good family values. I began to feel like I was living in a dream world where nothing was ever as it seemed. My great-aunt and great-uncle's story started to surface again, and with it, a realization that our family's history had been marked by secrets, lies, and betrayal. I started to explore online archives and old newspaper articles, searching for any mention of my great-aunt and great-uncle's name. That's when I stumbled upon an old diary belonging to my great-grandmother, the sister of my great-aunt. The entries were cryptic, but they hinted at a deep-seated feud between our family members, one that went all the way back to the 1950s. My great-grandmother wrote about how her brother's illegitimate relationship had caused a rift in their family, one that would never be healed. The more I read, the more I realized that our family's history was built on a foundation of shame and guilt. I felt like I was walking through a minefield, unsure of what to expect around every corner, but I couldn't help myself. I had to know the truth. What had really happened between my great-aunt and great-uncle? Why had our family kept their love a secret for so long? And what did this mean for me, now that I was uncovering these hidden truths? This paragraph continues to build tension and suspense as the protagonist delves deeper into the mystery of their family's past. The introduction of new evidence, such as old diary entries and newspaper articles, adds to the sense of discovery and revelation. The protagonist's emotional journey takes a darker turn as they confront the possibility that their own family's values may be built on lies and shame. shame. As I continued to dig, I started to piece together a narrative of love, loss, and betrayal. My great-aunt and great-uncle's story was one of two people who had found each other in a time when it wasn't safe to do so. They had met by chance at a coffee shop in the city, and their connection had been instantaneous. But when they tried to be together, they faced resistance from our family, who saw their love as a threat to our values and tradition. My great-grandmother, who was also part of the same generation, wrote about how she had been torn between loyalty to her family and her love for my great-aunt. The diary entries were raw and emotional, revealing a deep-seated pain that still lingered even years later. I couldn't help but feel a sense of anger and injustice on behalf of my great-aunt and great-uncle. Why had they been forced to hide their love? Why had our family turned against them? The more I read, the more I realized that this wasn't just a personal story, it was a story about the struggles of the LGBTQ+ community in the 1950s. It was a story about the fear and intolerance that had once been rampant, but which was slowly beginning to fade away. But as I delved deeper into my family's history, I started to realize that the truth was more complicated than I had ever imagined. My great-aunt and great-uncle's love story was intertwined with a darker narrative, one of family's secrets, lies, and betrayal. And at the center of it all was a choice that would change our family forever, whether or not to accept my great-aunt and great-uncle for who they were, rather than trying to erase them from memory. This paragraph takes a dramatic turn as the protagonist's investigation reveals the complexities and nuances of their family's past. The introduction of new evidence and perspectives adds depth and richness to the narrative, highlighting the struggles and challenges faced by the LGBTQ+ community in the 1950s. The protagonist's emotional journey becomes even more intense as they grapple with the consequences of their family's choices and the impact it has on their own identity. As I sat amidst the old photographs and dusty letters, I couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder at the complexity of my family's history. My great-aunt and great-uncle's love story was one of resilience and determination, a testament to the human spirit's capacity to thrive in the face of adversity. But it was also a reminder that our family's values were built on lies and secrets, ones that had been passed down through generations as a way of maintaining power and control. I thought about all the times my parents had told me stories about our family's proud history, the times they had emphasized the importance of tradition and loyalty. But now I saw it for what it was, a cover-up, a way to keep the truth hidden from prying eyes. My great-aunt and great-uncle's story was one of liberation, but also of pain and sacrifice. They had paid a heavy price for their love, one that would stay with us for generations. As I looked around my family's old photographs, I felt a sense of connection to my ancestors that I had never felt before. They were more than just distant relatives. They were people who had lived and loved and struggled in the same way as me. And in their stories, I saw a part of myself that I had always been missing. This paragraph marks a turning point in the protagonist's journey as they begin to see their family's history in a new light. The introduction of the concept of proud values adds a layer of complexity to the narrative, highlighting the ways in which families can perpetuate harm and control through subtle means. The protagonist's emotional journey takes on a more introspective tone as they begin to connect with their ancestors on a deeper level and explore the nuances of their own identity.